There is a kind of man who does not speak much. He does not waste words on meaningless chatter, does not seek validation from others, and does not care for the noise of the world. He walks in silence, yet when he moves, the earth trembles. When he acts, his actions echo through time. This is the power of the silent man. And perhaps no one embodies this power better than Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai, the philosopher of combat, and the lone wolf who reshaped the art of war forever. Musashi was not just a swordsman, he was a force of nature, a man who fought over 60 duels, each one a battle for survival, each one a lesson in life and death. And yet, despite his unparalleled skill, Musashi was not loud, boastful, or obsessed with his own legend. He moved through life like a shadow, calculating, focused, and deadly. His silence was not a weakness, it was his greatest weapon. So, what makes the silent man so powerful? Why is it that men like Musashi, who do not speak unless necessary, command more respect than those who never stop talking? And how can you channel this energy in your own life? Let's dive deep into the mind of Musashi and break down the philosophy of the silent warrior in great detail. 1. The silent man does not reveal his hand. Musashi understood one thing better than most. Those who talk too much reveal too much. Every word spoken carelessly is a weakness exposed. Every boast is an invitation for challenge. Every loud proclamation of strength is a silent admission of insecurity. The world is filled with men who constantly advertise their abilities. They brag about their wealth, their skills, their toughness. But Musashi, he did not need to speak. His presence alone was enough. His reputation did not come from self-promotion. It came from his undeniable mastery of combat. When you do not reveal your hand, people do not know how to deal with you. You become unpredictable. You become an enigma. And in a world where most men are desperate for attention, being unreadable is a superpower. A silent man is not one who has nothing to say. He simply chooses when and how to speak. He understands that words, like a warrior's blade, must be wielded with precision. A poorly placed word can expose your vulnerabilities. A strategic silence, on the other hand, keeps your opponents guessing. Musashi's silence was his shield. His unpredictability kept his enemies in the dark. And in a duel, in battle, and in life, those who are unreadable hold all the power. 2. The silent man listens and observes. Most men talk too much because they fear silence. They fear what might be revealed if they stop speaking. But Musashi embraced silence. He understood that when you are silent, you can listen. And when you listen, you learn. Before every duel, Musashi studied his opponents. He watched how they moved, how they held their swords, how they reacted to pressure. While they talked and postured, he analyzed. While they wasted energy in empty words, he absorbed information. In life, the man who listens and observes always has the advantage. He sees what others miss. He notices the weaknesses in his enemies, the flaws in their plans, the subtle cues that reveal their true intentions. And when the moment comes, he strikes with precision. Observation is an underappreciated skill in today's world. Most people are too caught up in their own voices, their own opinions, their own egos, to truly see what is happening around them. But the silent man, he is always watching, he is always calculating, he is always preparing. Musashi's ability to observe was legendary. He would sometimes arrive at duels hours earlier than his opponent, simply to watch the terrain, to study the way the wind moved, to understand how the light of the sun would change during the battle. He left nothing to chance, and because he was always prepared, he never lost. 3. The silent man speaks through action. Words are cheap, promises are easy to make, threats are easy to throw around, but action, that is what separates the strong from the weak. Musashi never needed to explain himself. He did not warn his enemies. He did not give long speeches about his philosophy before a fight. He simply acted, and when he did, the world took notice. This is why his Book of 5 Rings is still studied today, not just as a guide to sword fighting, but as a philosophy for life. Musashi believed that talk was meaningless without action. He did not waste time trying to convince others of his greatness. He proved it, again and again, with his sword. When you live like this, when your actions speak louder than your words, you command a different kind of respect. People know that when you say something, you mean it. When you promise something, you deliver. When you set a goal, you achieve it. and that makes you a man to be reckoned with. 4. The silent man controls his emotions. Loud men are often slaves to their emotions. They react impulsively. They let anger dictate their actions. They lose control the moment they feel threatened. Musashi, however, was a master of himself before he was a master of the sword. He understood that a warrior who cannot control his emotions is already defeated. He trained his mind to remain calm under pressure, to think clearly, even in the face of death. In his famous duel against Sasaki Kojiro, Musashi showed up late, deliberately. He knew that making Kojiro wait would frustrate him, would make him emotional, would throw him off his game, and it worked. When Musashi finally arrived, Kojiro was already angry. And an angry man is a weak man. If you can control your emotions while others lose theirs, you will always have the upper hand. This is true in combat. This is true in business. This is true in life. 5. The silent man moves with purpose. Most people drift through life without direction. They chase distractions, jump from one thing to another, waste their time on meaningless pursuits. But Musashi, he moved with purpose. Every decision he made was calculated. Every action had intent. Musashi believed in cutting away the unnecessary, in focusing only on what truly mattered. He did not waste time. He did not chase approval. He followed his own path, relentlessly. A silent man who moves with purpose is a force that cannot be stopped. He does not get lost in the noise. He does not waste energy on trivial things. He moves forward always toward his goal. 6. The silent man adapts. One of Musashi's greatest strengths was his ability to adapt. He did not rigidly adhere to one way of fighting, thinking, or living. Instead, he studied multiple techniques, mastered various weapons, and adjusted his strategies based on the situation. He believed that clinging to a single method was a weakness. In his duels, Musashi often fought unconventionally. He used wooden swords to defeat opponents wielding steel. He fought with 2 swords when most samurai only trained with 1. He used psychological tactics like arriving late or wielding oversized weapons to throw his enemies off balance. He was unpredictable, and that made him nearly invincible. Life is a battlefield, and the ability to adapt is what separates the winners from the losers. Those who are too rigid, too stuck in their ways, are easily broken when faced with new challenges. The silent man, however, moves fluidly. He does not panic when things change. He adjusts, he recalibrates, he finds a new way forward. This lesson from Musashi applies to every area of life. In business, relationships, and personal growth, the ability to pivot when necessary is key. A man who can only function under perfect conditions will always fail. But a man who can thrive in any environment, who can adapt to whatever life throws at him, is truly unstoppable. Musashi did not just survive by being strong, he survived by being flexible. He did not resist change, he embraced it, and that is why his legacy endures. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, let me know by writing in the comments, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button.